Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Wednesday, and all of our guests today brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Just before we get to John Shannon, NHL analyst, some Canuck news. Mark Friedman has cleared waivers, and down to Abbotsford he goes. I jinxed him, I think, when I said I was really impressed by him in the preseason.
He was the greatest thing since sliced bread in the preseason.
Rick Tocchet makes the point, though, this has a lot to do with paperwork. Garland's healthy. He costs more, and down goes Friedman to
a lot of those cap issues, gymnastics.
I love it when Tocchet says, why is Mark Friedman going down to, why is he on waivers, why is he going to Abbotsford?
Cap.
I don't know. It has something to do with the cap. It's way above my head.
That's it.
That's how I feel half the time. Here's somebody who can explain everything that's going on in the National Hockey League. John Shannon, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm living the dream, boys. I think I passed the mustard today, so it's good. By the way, for the record, mustard is the most unappreciated condiment simply because it's 0 calories.
Oh, good point. I did not know that.
0 calories. Ketchup, relish, mayonnaise all have sugar. 0 calories in mustard.
Well, wow. There you go. We can end this interview right now. Yeah. You're not going to get better than that. That's outstanding. Nothing like a good Dijon. Hey, I'm sure you were watching what happened what the Utah Hockey Club was up to last night on and off the ice. A 5-2 win. The atmosphere looked fabulous. What was your takeaway from NHL game number 1 in Salt Lake City?
Relief, more than anything, that we don't have to talk about a 5,000-seat arena and when an arena is going to be built in Phoenix. Stability, and I think it really, I think you could see it on the commissioner's face all day yesterday, was how happy he was to know that things were going in the right direction, and for the first time in a long time, guys, we're talking about 32 stable franchises.
Yeah, I haven't seen Gary that happy since he landed the Sportsnet deal.
I tell you what, though, I'm not sure he was thrilled to be sitting right at the glass. Yeah. The owner, Ryan Smith, may want to sit at the glass. I'm not sure the commissioner wants to sit at the glass.
Yeah, and I've never understood, and understand there's a lot of people who, maybe they're not familiar with the game of hockey, but people sitting in row 1. I just don't think you see enough there. I never understood the fascination, but what do I know? That's personal opinion. NHL, will it work? And you know the history. I remember the Salt Lake City Golden Eagles from back in the day in the old Western Hockey League. Any doubt it's going to work in Utah? John, I probably asked that before, but with last night's game in mind, I'll ask you again.
I don't think so. I think it's a perfect match. I think that they got the right owner. There are 4 cities in the NHL smaller than Salt Lake City that are pretty successful, including like Nashville and Winnipeg. So I think Salt Lake's a perfect position. I've been telling people about Salt Lake for about the last 5 years, so I feel kind of vindicated. It's the second fastest growing city in the United States, then the second to Las Vegas. I think it's just the right thing at the right time in a part of the world that loves the game of hockey. I remember doing the Olympics there in 2002 in the suburban arena. It was called the E-Center then. It held about 11,000 people, and they were hockey crazy then. So I don't think there's any question in my mind that Salt Lake will be a really successful franchise. But mind you, they have to win. I think that's important. They have to win games. We can say all we want about Phoenix and Arizona and Glendale and Tempe, but how many times in the 25 years that franchise was there did they put a winning product on the ice? And the answer is not very many.
John, there is no shortage of people who are picking the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. Are you one of them?
I think it's Vancouver and Edmonton. I heard you guys talk about this. Wouldn't it be great if Vancouver and Edmonton, and there is a way that happens, wouldn't it be great if they played in the Western Conference final?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it? And so I think it's going to be Edmonton or Vancouver going to the final. I really do. I think that's where it's going to come out. Now, whether that's one of them gets eliminated in the second round, or by hook or by crook, they can find a way to play in the Western Conference Final, which means one of the teams ends up being a wild card and moves over to the Central Division, which means they haven't had a very good season. So from that perspective, I think that the second round matchup between Vancouver and Edmonton, which I think will occur again, is going to be the key to the success in the West. I'm not picking Edmonton to win the Cup, but it wouldn't surprise me that they get to the Stanley Cup Final, nor would it surprise me if the Canucks got to the Stanley Cup Final.
John, boy, goalies are getting paid. Swayman, 8-2. Allmark in Ottawa today, 8-2. Shesterkin says no to 11. My goodness. Demko's up by...
and I tell you what, Ron Francis is a friend of mine.
Oh, Decord in Seattle, 5x5.
$5 million for Joey Decord. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's getting ripped, by the way, really hard. Yeah.
This is crazy. The amount of money that's being spent right now. And, you know, when you think that a guy like Joey Decord is going to play 30 games this season for $5 million, ooh, that's a lot of money for that. The Shesterkin one's a fascinating one for me. You know, having turned down $11 million, boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's going to throw a lot of goalie budgets out of whack if he finally gets that $12 million that he wants, because there are going to be other goalies over the next 2 or 3 years that are going to demand more. Jake Ottinger is going to get at least 8.25. That's a lot of money for Ottinger. It is going to be a crazy time to be a goaltender in the National Hockey League.
John, you're a TV guy. Have you watched Amazon's face-off inside the NHL?
You know what? I haven't yet. I'm kind of waiting for a rainy day, and we haven't had any rainy days in Toronto, so I'm waiting to watch all. I'm going to binge watch and watch all 6 at one time.
You saw, though, what Connor McDavid was up to in the Oilers dressing room. How do you think he came across there?
I think he came across as a competitive SOB that wants to win the Stanley Cup,
and that's okay.
And it's something that, you know, we've seen so many guys have veneer in talking with the media that we don't see it. We don't see that emotion from NHL players. And was it a revelation? Yeah. But at the same time, you wonder how it will affect how Connor deals with the media in the next little while, because people actually can see how competitive and passionate he is about the game and about winning. Yeah.
Well, I've been watching it in bits and pieces, and I as I tell you the obvious here, but I think it's worth a watch. What do you think it'll do for the National Hockey League? It's not the first time they've been down this road, but the first time with Amazon.
Well, so they did this deal with Amazon because they got a chance to partner with the same production company that did the F1 Drive to Survive. So what did that do for F1 car racing? It introduced a whole group of new fans to the sport. I'm not sure. I'm not confident that it will introduce new fans, but if it does introduce new fans to the game of hockey, then it's been a good gamble. It's worked out. We're going to watch hockey no matter what.
Yep.
You know, we're Canadian and we love the game, and that's the same for lots of people around the world. But if it can introduce another 10% of the sports audience to the game of hockey and decide, well, I want to watch Connor McDavid or I want to watch William Nylander, you know, then I'm interested. Then it's done its job.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the Canadian element there. I woke up this morning; it was like Christmas.
Yeah.
I know the NHL opened up in Prague and there were games yesterday, but in terms of the Canucks playing, I can't wait. And that documentary is worth a watch, John, as I state the obvious.
Well, I downloaded and watched them on my flights, so that's what I do.
Oh,
all right.
Very nice.
John, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week.
Did I pass the muster?
I knew you were going to say that. Yes, you passed the muster by saying that.
I'm worried about Ryan when he doesn't know the difference between mustard and mustard, but that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't put mustard in his chili.
Yeah.
Thanks for this, John.
Cheers.
Okay.